So let me walk you through how I built this task tracker app in Python using just my phone and Pydroid theory. So basically, if you're a beginner, you can build this project. You just need to start small and add features on the go. So this app contains features like add tags, search tags, edit tags, mark tasks as done, summarize tasks, up to delete completed tasks, view pending tasks, etc. So how can you build this app? First thing you must know about how to build this app, you must know some basic things like how to use functions. You don't need the advanced knowledge of how to use functions, just know the syntax of how you can use functions, lists, work with lists, dictionaries, nested dictionaries, for loops, while loops, list comprehensions, and stuff like that. So now let me walk you through how I built this project. First, let me go to the code structure, the main function for this code, the main logic, the main function that contains the main logic for this code. So this is the main function. It contains the what we printed out to the terminal, tax logger, add tax, etc. And then it contains the prompt that will prompt user to choose an option, and it also has various conditional statements that determine what happens based on the user's input. Like at if choice is equal to 1, then we'll call the attacks function and so on. So from here you can see we use different functions. If choice is equal to 1, we call the attacks function. Now let's look at some of the functions. So before I run the main program, I just needed to know what are the features my program is going to have. Then I define functions to solve those problems, to make my code more modular and just easy to read and work with. So I define various functions like the add tags function, but before I use this function, because I'm working with a file, I imported JSON because I'm using the JSON file. I imported OS to work with file to modify, either to make the file or to load the file. Then the datetime module to add the date automatically. So I defined the load task function. This helps to load the data from my JSON file and return it as a dictionary. Then I define the save task function. The save task function takes the tax dictionary that I've loaded and save it back to the file. I define add tax function. Add tax function basically prompts you for your tax and it automatically adds the current date and the time to that tax. So it contains features like time, your entry, and status, and just append this into the dictionary, and then we call the save task function to save it. Then I define the display task function. This display task function prompts you, it just like an helper function. It helps us display our tags from our tag dictionary neatly. It uses this feature, special feature like the status, indicating if tax is done or pending. Then I define the search task function that helps us handle our search, helps us search tags for a specific date. Also, I define the edit task function. This function just helps us edit our tags that has already been entered. It helps us edit the tags in case you want to change what you've entered before. Then mark done. I define the mark done function to mark tags as done, because in the add function we set our status to false. So this markdown function helps us change that status from false to true. So that's just basically what the add markdown function does. Then to summarize tasks, I defined the summarize tasks function. I created a summarize tasks function to handle that. So this task helps us, it gives us an information of our pending tasks, our completed tasks, total tasks, the date that has been entered, and also percentage of how far we have gone in completing our tasks. So it prints all these messages to the screen using these print statements. Then I to auto delete completed tasks, I defined an auto delete completed task function. This function helps us delete all the completed tasks that we have in our task dictionary. So any task with its status set to true, this function basically helps us delete them. Then to look for pending tasks, I defined a pending task function. This function helps us view all pending tasks. It just shows us the number of pending tasks for each date and gives us the total. Then back to the main function. This way we combine everything and we called all the function based on the choice of the user. Then this last part, if name is equals to main, call main. So this part basically helps, it's just kind of a Pythonic way of calling our main function. This helps us, this helps this our functions listed in this script to be callable in other scripts, and also prevents the the functions from interfering, because I've called these functions in this script, so it prevents them interfering with our other scripts that will be calling our individual functions in. So that's what this script helps us. It just helps our script to be reusable. So behind the scene, let me just show you what is going on behind the scene. This is our taxation. This is where we saved all our tax in. So this is our tax JSON file. You can see time, entry, status set to true, status set to false. And let me just run this program again to see the persistence. Let me say summarize tax, and you can see done 50%. It prints out a message 9 job. It shows us the number of completed tasks, number of pending tasks, and the total. Then our dates. We can add tasks, and you can see it has been logged successfully. If we should go back to our file again, tax.json, you can see watch movie, status set to false, and so on. So thanks for watching. If you love this video, please like and subscribe. And also, if you want the full video, the full breakdown of on how to build this project, just comment down below, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.